Welcome back, WNST, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive. I got to tell everybody, I finally got tired of having hair all over my face. I got tired of wearing my sweatshirt. No offense to my friends from Liberty Pure or Billy Cole from Cole Roofing and the hats and all the fun, but I finally decided that I got to shave, I got to get cleaned up, and this is my first guest with the new me, Jared Goldstein. You remember the old me, right? I remember the old you, by the way. And the old both of us sat in College Park and just watched basketball, right? And we beat an Orioles game this week, or the draft this week, which you still have, and you have Jets and I have Ravens. But, the new me is that I've been laying around like a couch lizard for 6 weeks, and I just felt like I needed to shave. I felt like I was growing my second hockey playoff beard, and we're not even out of April, dude. So I got shaved up for you, man. How you been?
I appreciate it. I feel honored. I'm doing well, adjusting to the new normal.
Well, I have so many friends out there that had old normals and new normals. I mean, I don't know if you know this or not, but there ain't no sports no more, right? And all I've ever done is Baltimore sports, and there's no sports other than maybe a draft where they may or may not play football this year. We're all trying to adjust to this, right? And your former career and taking care of my wife as a physical therapist, myself as well, and my wife's 2 cancer battles, and she was seeing you for years and years. You've now taken like your medical background into another place, and it sort of intersects with where we are right now, where all of the young guys like you and me are learning the Zoom thing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still doing physical therapy, but due to the COVID virus and things like that, and this is something I've been working on for about a year and a half and kind of pivoted as I needed to when this all took place. But yeah, I've been tracking and working and consulting with different telemedicine groups over the last year or so. And, we are seeing it become part of the mainstream today.
You know what's a fascinating thing? Like, I grew up, I was born in 68. What year were you born? Because it always tells me where we are in a timeline. You younger than me or older? I don't even know. You're younger.
I'm a couple of years younger than you.
Yeah, you're younger than me, right?
74.
Fair enough. So I grew up in the early 70s, and literally, this is my first memory of this, right? I would see reruns on TV, or like maybe the end of the Brady Bunch, 73, 4, 5, 6, 7, where on television, when someone called for a doctor, like on Father Knows Best, or name any of those, Beaver, Leave It to Beaver, you didn't go to a doctor's office. The doctor came to your house, and he came to your house with a briefcase, right? And he pulled the stethoscope out, and when you were a little boy, the doctor was coming to the house because you had a fever, and mom had a cold compress. I'm talking like Eisenhower stuff here, 50s and 60s, right? So, and my parents were older. So I never had a house doctor, right? But on TV, everybody did. And I often wondered, like, why do and my parents, we had a very special doctor who delivered my parents' premature son, who delivered me at Church Home Hospital in 1968. Yes, I was born in Baltimore City. But Jared, I would say we used to get in the car and drive to, so see if you can figure where the Ruxton Tower is, like on Charles Street. We would go inside, past Greenwood, past GBMC, down Charles Road to my doctor was in a little Falls village. His name was Dr. Wells. And if anybody out there knew Dr. Gibson Wells, he delivered me, delivered both of my stepbrothers, delivered my mother in 1949. And Dr. Wells probably stopped practicing in the 80s or whatever. But Dr. Wells was totally that doctor that, like, went to people's homes and then at some point created a practice, right? And it's fascinating to me that I have memories of this now that my wife has all sorts of medical fallout from 2 cancer battles and 9/11 and all that stuff, right? That she has all these doctors that she has for endo, for female medicine, for cancer, for follow-up for her eyes. You know Brian Granick, who's been seeing her eyes at a visionary eye for
Absolutely.
a number of years. Tell him I broke my glasses. Tell him I'm an idiot. I broke my reading glasses. I don't even think I've paid for them yet.
You're seeing the best in optometry, so I'm sure.
Well, there's no doubt. But I just want to bring this to where you are because I think all of us have medicine in our lives, doctors. I mean, my dentist, I was supposed to see him on Thursday, can't see him. I was thinking, like, I haven't had physical therapy, like massage in a while, right? Like, how do you see these people? If my knee were ripped up like it was when I came and saw you and my wife and her shoulder, man, we're in a different place where telemedicine now is the only way my wife can communicate with her endocrinologist right now, who she had an appointment with a month ago. It's incredible, and you've moved into this space before, like, the virus came, right?
Yeah, no, like you said, I've been in this space for about a year and a half now, and it's been growing rapidly. Obviously, kind of got thrown into the mix, and everyone's scrambling over the last month or so here with the virus. But, your wife's a perfect example. There's a lot of people that are immunosuppressed who have to be careful. And I was reading an article.
So do their spouses, by the way. Yes, right?
Yep, right.
Asymptomatic scares the hell out of me.
Absolutely. I mean, and for a healthy individual, it scares the hell out of me.
You know what scares the hell out of me is the governor of Georgia didn't know what asymptomatic was a week ago. That really scares the hell out of me. But
there's a lot of scary things out there right now. But yeah, I mean, physical therapy.
I'm allowed to discuss those now, Jared. I don't stick to sports anymore, so as you can tell.
So physical therapists are essential, so they can open their offices. But as we're discussing, it's scary, right? Whether you're the physical therapist on the other side or the patient, and that holds true for any medical provider.
Well, you're self-therapy now, right? Like if my wife needed you right now, the way she did a few years ago for her frozen shoulder after a cancer battle, and she had a port stuck in her chest, and all of that went on for her, and her battle's well documented. But I mean, she got out of bed every morning and drove over to see you, and you cracked her and moved her and, did things and heated and stimmed and did all of these. I mean, I remember that with my knee surgery, many, many years ago, 2006, worst summer of my life.
And there's a lot of those things that, listen, I dealt with a lot of people that saying you can't do this virtually, you can't do telemedicine, you can't. There is a large percentage of our patients that can absolutely be done remotely, and not just because of these times. So Jen's a perfect example with the frozen shoulder. There's so much of it that can be done on your own with the proper guidance and instruction that, she probably could have done that back then. We're talking years ago where this didn't really exist, from the comfort of our own home, and not used physical therapy in a brick and mortar clinic. There are certain injuries, you tear up your knee and things like that. That's going to be more difficult to do at home, but certainly later in the rehab process, it can be done.
My man Steve got a hold of me. Back in 06, I would go up to Bel Air, and, MedStar did my knee, and I'm having Brad Chambers on this week, even though his marketing specialist never calls me back and insulted me last year, but we're talking real things here in the pandemic. This is the best part of the pandemic. I don't need to shut up anymore. I can be honest. But MedStar tore my knee up, and Steve was taking care of me up in Bel Air. And, from soup to nuts, from getting in the car, driving, being there, being with somebody I trusted in 2006, which is I still trust him to, with my life, literally. But the things that physical therapists did physically for me, and the things I saw them doing for young girls that tore their knee up in soccer, or the kid pitcher who blew his shoulder out, which was Steve's specialty at the time, right? And taking care of these kids with Tommy John, all these things that happened. I know we're now at a point where we all need to be a little self-medicated, a little self-soothed, a little self-therapied, right? That we're sequestered, we're quarantined, we are where we are. I would have to make do. I would have to figure out how to emulate that, find it online. But you have doctors available to walk you through in every way they can without being 6 feet away from you, right?
Right. And I mean, in these times, a lot of us ignore our nagging injuries because we're so busy in life. I mean, I get it. We're all running. I do the same. Unfortunately or fortunately, we have plenty of time, many of us now. Now's the time to take care of it, and we can take care of it from the comfort of our own home.
Jared Goldstein's been my friend for a number of years. We've had cookies together. We've had Buffalo Wild Wings together. We've had therapy together. We've had Maryland Terps therapy together. I think you were with me the night that the Orioles, that Showalter left Britton in the bullpen, right? I mean, I think we've had some moments together. I mean, some sports moments together. You've done a lot in the therapy space. Tell us about this telemedicine. Tell us about virtual health PT and you getting involved. I mean, a lot of people in my audience, we have a lot of mutual friends. I literally did not know you were doing this until recently. So tell me about virtual health PT, man.
So virtual health PT is, just as we were talking, is a online physical therapy clinic, if you will. We can see people all over the country. We are currently in 10 states right now. where we're seeing people. We're heavily based in Florida and New York, obviously New York being the epicenter of COVID-19 now.
Well, Florida will be next week. I saw they opened the beach there. They have a knucklehead for a governor, too.
And so. I think 1,400 people test positive on Friday.
This is why we can't have nice things, by the way. Yes,
yeah.
But yes.
So, the nice thing is, we have people in different parts of the country that we're treating. And like I said, New York's a big part of it right now. And, about 80% of what we would see in a regular clinic, we can do and treat virtually. So there's a lot of people who can help. And like I said, a lot of people sitting home with basic nagging injuries and things like that now, where they could really benefit from doing things rather than we're all catching up and binge watching.
We all have time
right now.
We all have time.
But,
there's nothing.
We have, 45 minutes to get up and exercise and take care of some things and get ourselves stronger as well.
If you wind up with 10, 12 weeks on a couch, which looks like it's going to be an easy 10 or 12 weeks around this place. I mean, we're into 6 or 7 already. I'm in the process of quietly sort of writing a book that it's not quiet anymore. I think I just told you that I'm working on, shall we say, some white papers on some things in regard to Baltimore Positive and the future of the city and the future of our society in a lot of ways. And I found myself, we moved the studio back. I don't know if you can tell, my leg lamp is closer. I've moved Art Modell and I've dressed up for you, Jared, on the, but we've made a yoga studio in here for hot yoga because, as you know, it's my passion and I can't get back on the mat with my man Keith Golden and my friends there down at Yoga Works. So we've turned this into a little bit of a yoga space. And I've been bitching on the radio for like a month. Dennis Colatzos and I had a long conversation about me losing weight during the pandemic because I'm eating less, working out more, sleeping less, tweeting more, videoing more, thinking more, writing more. And I think for all of us, it has created, some would call it stress. I've preferred to try to think of it as eustress, which is sort of an old-fashioned term I don't hear anymore. But, this whole thing for where we are with moving our bodies and making sure that, A, we don't get injured and wind up in your clinic, virtually or otherwise, or stay healthy so that we live longer and don't catch a virus that likes to clearly prey on those who have prior conditions, shall we say, or likes to prey on folks with immune system deficiencies like my wife has had. Some thoughts for you on being a medical guy and, not a doctor, but playing one on the radio. When you started hearing about this 8, 10, 12, 15 weeks ago, we were in Asia. My wife was sick as a dog the whole month of January. Dude, we think we may have had it. You know what I mean? Literally, we both think we may have had it back in January. I got on a plane and went to Miami. Now, of course, because of my wife's condition, I don't elbow bump. I keep distance. I don't think I've ever hugged you. I've known you in the spirit. Bump. I don't think I've ever hugged you. And I'm a hugger. Dude, I'm Latin. You know what I'm saying? My soul patch here would probably tell you. I've left that. I don't know. My wife hasn't seen it yet. She'll probably make me get rid of it. But from a medical perspective, a guy like you, can I be nice and say you're not one of the dumbasses I see out on the internet? I mean, you're a medical guy. You know what viruses and bacteria are. Give me a little lowdown from your real life and what you've seen the last 10 weeks in the universe of being a guy who's educated about these things and hears about these things and thinks, well, the pandemic's not coming here. We're America. We would never let something like that happen, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on your side. You and I talk every now and then, and the stupidity at times of people is frustrating. This is something that we're watching in our own home state spread. My hometown of New York, obviously being the epicenter and the dense population. It is.
How many people do you know that have been involved? New Yorker.
Well, my sister and brother-in-law are in the same boat as you and your wife. They believe they had it. Thankfully, it was nothing too severe. 1 or 2 days in bed and things like that.
My wife spent a month in bed, didn't work for a week and a half, missed the Lamar Jackson game in bed. Next day, we spent 14 hours in the emergency room on Sunday. They Tamiflued her, couldn't diagnose it. She was still in bed 10 days later, went back, couldn't diagnose it. She, did 2 turns at missed the Super Bowl, the whole deal. You know what I mean? And we were in Asia the month before. You think we're not thinking about this, right? That we may have had it and who we may have given it to, for crying out loud.
I mean, just look at the thousands of people in your state that have it, and it's not like everyone was coughed and sneezed on. they were getting it from passing people or just touching the same door someone else touched. It's that easy. Or asymptomatic people around them, as we talked about a few minutes ago. So anyone that's not heeding to the warnings is just foolish. I can tell you that. And obviously it's spreading rapidly. So this is why, again, you see so many healthcare professionals that are not on the front lines. And thank God we have amazing people on the front line. But those that aren't, and they're more of a, whatever they may be, dermatologist, orthopedic surgeon, have jumped to telemedicine. And it's amazing the number of people that I've spoken to. I've consulted with a handful of groups in the last few months. But these are some of the smartest people out there, and they're all taking the precautions that need to be taken.
Jared Goldstein joining us here, bringing the best telemedicine solutions to healthcare providers. Says so on your LinkedIn. Longtime physical therapist, longtime friend of ours, longtime friend of a lot of our friends, including Strategic Factory and A Great Cookie, and our friends at Visionary Eye, who I got to get out because I broke my glasses, and I just broke the news to Granick. I mean, I was in here, I was cleaning them right before I was doing radio, and they snapped in half, and I'm like, how did I do that? I'm not that strong. I'm really not. You know that. For you with sports and, the Jets are drafting. My boy Joe Douglas is running your Jets, and what happened to Maryland at the end, which I think for all of us, this has been something, right? I mean, you have wrapped your life around sports much like me. We're massive sports fans. I mean, it's part of my life. It's part of my background. It's what I'm known for. I'm not allowed to say anything, as you know, because I have to stick to sports, Jared. But this is a wild time for all of us, and a hell of a stop in our lives as we're in the middle of our lives, you and I, hopefully in the middle of our lives. Hopefully I'm still in the front third, quite frankly. But this has been something for all of us to have to navigate. And I know you being in this telemedicine space, I mean, geez, played right into where your space is. I'm out on the internet to some degree, right? Like I'm sort of decent at this, right? And distributing this. So maybe there's a benefit to some degree. Half my friends are out of business or on the way to out of business. I don't know whether I have a PPP, Wells Fargo. This has really been a sticky thing, I think, on a personal level for all of us. But the one thing guys like you and me cling to is, hey, no matter how bad it is, when our girlfriend dumped us, our dog died, our parent, whatever happened, the ball game was on. And we had this thing that we could sort of hit the hyperspace and go into it. Man, that has been the weirdest reset for me over the last month and a half, is to not have that in my life, especially given what I do,
Absolutely. I mean, personally, I miss it from my three daughters, not playing their sports and out on the field. And then, like you're saying, watching it, right? Die-hard sports fan, and nothing is out there, whether it's the Terps, the Ravens, or anything. And, all these conversations you have with friends and family of, it's coming back this day or in 3 months or 2 months, and none of us even know. And we're just itching for it so badly. I almost watched the Jordan special last night, which was something. I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch sports. I watch news occasionally, 1 or 2 shows. So, there is enough downtime already, and now not having my sports to root for and everyone hearing me yell in the house, it's a very odd time for sure.
You inspired me last week, and I had a lot of friends. My dear friend Kristen Dorn, who did our Baltimore Positive logo as well. It looks awesome. You had Indian food last week, and I saw this. My wife and I have been craving Indian food like you wouldn't believe, and we've been talking about it for like 3 weeks, and then it's sort of like Facebook knows what you're talking about, and then it starts popping up, and you popped up, and other people. Eric Sauer from There Goes My Heroes, hey, you got to come to Bel Air and get Indian. So you inspired me with some Indian food last week, so we crushed some Indian food on Sunday night. I did not watch the Jordan thing. I have purposely sort of taking life seriously in my 52nd year because I live downtown. I can't sell my condo. My wife's working. I'm sort of half working. And I think we're moving toward the weirdness of a year without sports, or this part of my life without sports. So, I'm trying to learn how to cook Indian food and stuff. So the next chicken tikka masala we're going to be working up in the kitchen around here, I think.
All right. Well, that's good to hear. It's good stuff. And everything you're doing with Baltimore Positive has been great to watch.
Thanks,
unfold.
Man. Well, what else do I have to do except try to make the world a better place at this point, dude, right?
Hey, man, we need more people doing that.
I even shaved today, and I put my nice jacket on. This is the jacket I was wearing in the Caps won the Stanley Cup final, so out in Vegas. I thought I'd bring it back, little red, little blue. But I'm going to be switching up. You know what's wild, dude? All of my sport coats, all of my shirts, I haven't put one of them on in like a month and a half. So they're all pressed. They're all in the closet. And I decided this week I'm going to shave. I'm going to look nice. And you were the first guest. Jared Goldstein's my friend. You can find him at virtualhealthpt.com, providing you with physical therapy at home, out on LinkedIn as well. And get to me, I'll get you to him. And you can find him at Virtual Health PT. Anything else? I mean, the Terps stopping was weird for everybody because, like, they're not going to be in the top 10 every year, even though they were frustrating the hell out of us before the virus came along, right?
They were, yeah. No, it's frustrating. You know, obviously, not even just Terps, but March Madness, you know, is the premier event for a lot of us.
Masters, don't forget the Masters, right?
Masters, you know, I guess we'll get a little taste of it this week with the draft, and we'll see what happens.
Preakness, we're coming up on the Preakness. There's no Derby. There's nothing, right?
Right, and that's it. So, you know, I'm going to hang on to the draft a little bit. For me, you know, I'm tying into what I do. You know, I'm curious to see what happens with Tua and whether he drops or not with this injury. I think he's good to go. I think he's strong. I think it's going to take some freak hit to put him down.
You give him some virtual health PT, get him fixed up with the hip, the whole thing here, get the blood flow going.
Listen, I'm sure he's training every day, and he's got people guiding him through it. We saw a clip of one or two things. And all these guys are doing that. They're all out there. They're all doing their thing, keeping themselves strong, and doing everything they need.
Tell Granick I broke my glasses, all right? I don't have the heart to tell him.
You got it.
I really don't. I don't have the heart to, and I don't even know how I'm going to get him fixed. This is a true story, and I told Granick this when he was on a couple weeks ago. The day that all hell broke loose, I was in Pikesville. I was doing a Wednesday night a Sports Boosters event, and the next day we got groceries, and then it looked like the whole society was going to shut down. I didn't know what that looked like, and I realized I only had one pair of reading glasses that actually worked, and they were my good ones, right? Glare-free, all the sexy stuff Granick does with them, right? So I said, man, I got to go get another pair of glasses in case I break them. 7 o'clock in the morning, mask, gloves. Nobody in Arbutus has a mask or gloves. I'm at the Walmart. I'm not kidding you. Baltimore, Washington Boulevard, Arbutus, 6:30 in the morning. I shook my wife. I woke her up on a Saturday to drive me down there. I'm like, look, I don't care about the vegetables, the groceries, anything. Mask, gloves. I need a backup pair of reading glasses because if I break them, I won't be able to see anything in the middle of a pandemic. And this is like, you know, this is a month ago. And 7 in the morning, that's the reason I did it. And I swear to you, last night I broke Granick's glasses. And it's a good thing that and oh my God, they're loose already, these crappy $20 cheater readers. But this is all I have right now to be able to look down and see that virtual PT, virtualhealthpt.com. See, I need my glasses to read the website that I can see this.
I'll tell you what, I have masks, I have gloves. He lives 1.5 miles from me. I'll make sure I give them to him, and I'll give him
I need an N95 for my wife. Get it over here. I need one for her so I can actually take her into a supermarket. I can't take her out right now.
That's all right. Better safe than sorry, but I'll see what I can do.
They're under lock and key, I know. Hey, man, she's a cancer survivor. Just give me one mask for my wife. Maybe one for me, too, because if I get it, then she gets it, right? Right.
Hey, if I don't have the N95, so I'm happy to give you what I have, and especially take care of Jen.
I'm just locking her in the house. That's what I'm doing. It's probably the best advice you're going to give me, right? Right.
It probably is.
There it is. Jared, I love you, man. Appreciate you. Take care of yourself. Virtual Health PT, all right?
You too, Nestor. Take care.
There he goes. Having all my friends on, sponsors, former sponsors, drinking buddies, wing buddies, great cookie buddies, friends. We need them now more than ever, right? Nasty at WNST.net finds me. I'm the dressed up one with the soul patch on the internet. WNST.net, AM 1570. We used to do Baltimore sports. No, my finger just went into the chyron. Now we're keeping calm, staying local, and always Baltimore positive. I would have been a hell of a weather guy. Marty, look out. I'm coming for your job.